Hey, what's up everybody? TooTallToby here, and today is January 23rd, and I am super excited because tomorrow we get to continue to watch students from La Grande High School in La Grande, California, competing in the high school edition of our CAD vs. CAD Speed Modeling Tournament. Now, last week we saw an epic match between Escalete and La La Lambs, and then we saw a really fun match between DUBB-YAHH and WHICHO. And so today I thought it'd be cool to show you a highlight from that match from DUBB-YAHH and WHICHO. And I hope that you will all tune in tomorrow. Join us tomorrow for the semifinals, the final 4 runners in this tournament. And soon we're going to find out who is the high school champion of 3D CAD speed modeling. Enjoy this highlight reel, and I'll see everybody tomorrow. Nice. Oh, okay, I like this. All right, here we go, guys. Let's give this thing a rip. What drawing? What does the Wheel of Fate have in store for our runners for this match? 12! Oh, Jim, you should have stuck with it.
Oh, man.
Wow. Jim, you had it and then decided to adjust. But you notice that the answer was right between 12 and 4. Like it was right there on the line between 12 and 4. It's crazy. Jim, you are spot on today for sure. But that one's going to go to Rockcrawler, who answered 12 and stuck to his guns. Congratulations, Rockcrawler. Jim says, dang it. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. So this is going to be drawing number 12 for our runners. So let's learn a little bit about these runners. DUBB-YAHH, 10th grader, versus WHICHO, an 11th grader.
Here we go.
Corey, maybe you can tell us a little bit about these runners.
Absolutely, yeah. So DUBB-YAHH actually used Onshape to create a custom exhaust tip for his truck. I think the exhaust looks a little bit better than his truck does, but he definitely has a nice exhaust on there now. What was nice is a whole sheet metal unfolded piece, and he welded it all together. So we started out with a 3D model in Onshape, unfolded it flat to sheet metal, and then brought it back into a 3D shape in the real world after we cut it out on the plasma table. Wow.
So truly using the manufacturing capabilities of both Onshape and then your teaching as his instructor.
Absolutely.
That's
and
awesome.
a lot of headaches went along with that too. So he figured out a lot of how to remedy the situation, and a lot of learning happening there too. So
wow.
He's also one of our FFA officers, just like Mr. Fancy Pants. They're
nice.
Teammates together.
So cool.
So it's pretty cool.
And we have, just so you know, we're gonna have I dumped all the fun facts onto this one side. Maybe we could just do like 1 or 2 for each of them, and then we'll come back for the other on the next round.
For sure. And WHICHO, another one, he breeds chickens as well.
Nice. I love that.
And he grows his own crops. I'm guessing you grow the crops for the chickens? To eat vegetables? Like what? What are your favorite? Or what do you guys got? Corn, squash, cucumbers.
Nice.
Oranges, peaches. I don't know why I go to the grocery store. I'm going to go to your house now from here on
out,
so.
Peaches.
Peaches, yep.
Wow, that's serious crops.
Yep.
I like it.
I don't know where he finds time to do all this Onshape stuff when they're so good at doing all this other stuff. But
yeah, very impressive. All right, well, I am excited to see how these runners do against one another. I'm excited to learn some more about them as well, but maybe we'll leave some of those fun facts for the next in-between rounds. Let's get into this first match. Don't forget, guys, don't forget to check your units as we come into this challenge. Make sure that you're working with the correct units. And here we go. Have the drawings been distributed to your
They're in
helper?
my assistant's hands, yep.
Okay, here we go. Guys, this first CAD battle between DUBB-YAHH from 10th grade and WHICHO from 11th grade begins in 3, 2, 1, go! What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? Now, this is a special part because it's made out of red oak. It's a newer material in the TooTallToby library. And here we can see this is a tier 2 part, red oak. What is the mass of this part in grams? So let's flip over to this CAD versus CAD battle. We got DUBB-YAHH on the left working from this drawing. We got WHICHO on the right working from this drawing. Let's see how they create this part. So it looks like DUBB-YAHH is taking an approach of creating the geometry that's at the top, kind of looking down maybe, or I guess we'll find out in a second.
He's doing a top view, and it looks like WHICHO's doing it from the front. So it's kind of 2 different approaches. It's pretty cool to see.
2 different approaches. I like this. So we see that WHICHO looks like he was able to quickly get in there and add some dimensions. Remember, this type of CAD is what we call parametric CAD, which means it's rules-based. So as you're creating the geometry, you can add some rules, and the most common rule is what is the size of the geometry. And so we can see that WHICHO is going in and adding those sizes as he's creating the sketch lines. That can be a really, really nice time saver.
Looks like W is running into some connection issues.
Oh, no.
It's not letting him do anything.
This is what you kind of alluded to earlier, huh?
Yeah.
Sometimes these computers just kind of glitch out.
Sometimes they fly, and other times they die.
Okay, so. we'll see if he can catch up.
I think you just click on it, and it kicks yourself out. It's got you in there twice. There you go. You're good.
All right. So now we're seeing WHICHO on the left. Now that he's gone through and created that kind of L shape, it looks like he's going to also go through and create that bracket shape. This is a very similar technique to what we saw with Lala Lambs earlier, where she was able to create multiple contours in one sketch. And so we're going to see if this pays off for WHICHO as well. Creating these kinds of wood parts. Wood is a new material. We just added it to the TooTallToby library at the end of last year. And I'm very excited to have this added in here. This is going to really open the door for us to do some furniture design, some cool brackets and things like that. And we're also going to see this year an introduction of a new category, which is simply functional 3D printed parts. So some of the challenges that you're going to see on the TooTallToby library are going to be parts that you can print out and that you can actually 3D print. You can draw up and then 3D print. And I'm very excited to start releasing some of those challenges as well.
No, yeah, but our week back, before we came back to school, I went and taught at another school for a guest lecturer, and it was cabinetry. And so I know there's a bunch of stuff that you can do that, like, welding, you just slap the things together and you weld it as is. You can miter them, you can do a bunch of stuff. But woodworking joinery is being able to model that. That takes a lot of, with dovetails and dados and rabbets and all these different features. It's really cool to see how you can do that. So
and it looks like Vincent C came in with a PayPal donation towards this tournament. Thank you, Vincent C. Very much appreciated. So much. Thank you. It's great to be able to support this type of edutainment, to be able to help the future generation of 3D CAD users kind of learn in a different way, right? We're learning, there's a lot of different ways you can learn, and different ways work for different people, but this is a cool way to help people understand. One thing that's always really interesting is how when people see these challenges, at first they'll say, oh, I could do that in a minute. I could just do that in 1 minute. When you actually get in there and you actually have to sketch it up and all the geometry has to be geometrically correct, it has to be sized correct, a lot of times you get surprised by how long it takes.
Yeah, no, I see. It looks like W is catching back up. WHICHO, I think, got hung up on his angled piece right there. I don't know what happened there. He kind of deleted some of his geometry.
Yeah, I saw what happened there, actually. It looked like, so he created a line kind of like what he's creating right now. Then he created a second line, and the two lines were not parallel. And so when he went in to put in the dimension between those two lines, it gave him an angle dimension.
Angle instead.
Yeah, gotcha. And this is kind of the tricky part about this challenge is that, again, this is parametric CAD modeling. And so one of the parameters you can add is a parameter for what's called a rule. And you could certainly add in a parameter to make two lines parallel. But if you miss that, then you're not going to get a distance dimension. You're going to get an angle dimension. So he got like 179.5. And, and if they were parallel, it would have been 180. He wouldn't have gotten that. So very interesting. Yep. Interesting to see how both of these runners are going to approach this. And that could definitely trip you up a little bit if you're not familiar. Let's see what happens on the left here with W. So it looks like W was able to get those two lines in parallel and is now going to maybe pull ahead in this challenge. Goes from having to do a full restart to pulling ahead a little bit, at least on the sketch geometry.
He's still drawing from that top face, but even though it's the front view, it looks like. But I think at the end of the day, it's all relative, right? It's space.
Yeah, it's what is the mass. So as long as it's volumetrically correct, the mass should come up correct as well. Rockcrawler in the chat says, "Come on, WHICHO, you got this."
For you.
Yeah, rooting for you. Okay, so now we see that on the left, it looks like W was able to draw first blood, get that first feature created. And now let's see how he handles this brace shape.
Oh, and I'm wondering how he's gonna. I knew that was gonna pop up.
Yeah,
that was gonna happen. Let's see how he was gonna.
See how he addresses this. Yeah, it looks like maybe that geometry would have made more sense if it was centered, but does he know how to get that geometry to become centered? That's the question. Rockcaller says WHICHO was my nickname growing up. Interesting.
Oh,
fun facts from Rockcaller.
Nice.
I like it. And Jim, you noticing that, yeah, this definitely could be a
that's
spot.
what I was thinking.
Yeah. We're not going to say it out loud. At least I'm not going to say it.
You say it too many times out loud, he'll show up, right?
Exactly.
Should have him on next week and pick it through.
And look at WHICHO. WHICHO was able to get in there and get that dimension, that 30 dimension in there. So that's starting to look a little bit more correct. So if we bring up that 2D print, we can see here that the dimension that looks like both of them are going to need to figure out is what that dimension is from the bottom of the part up to the bottom of that brace. And we got a super chat here from Edwin. Thank you, Edwin. $5 super chat. Very much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So glad to have you here. So glad you're enjoying this tournament. Very cool to have a tournament here with high school students. Mr. Fancy Pants, who's also a high school student, won his match last week in the chat. Says, got it. Nice.
Getting a lot of practice in, so.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to practice for these tournaments is to go back and watch some of the earlier tournaments and practice some of those models. You could also go back through the practice models app at TooTallToby.com/practice. Look up those tier 1 challenges and start going through those. A lot of those have tutorial videos with them. All right, so it looks like on the right, WHICHO has gotten hung up with something. I don't know if he's hung up with trying to get that dimension. Looks like he's trying to get that final dimension in there. We see another example of that red font telling you that things are over-constrained or over-defined. So it looks like he's...
W's getting another extrusion going.
Yep. Like that. Doesn't want to commit, though. He doesn't want to commit to that second extrusion. All right, and WHICHO getting in there with a dimension from the bottom of the part. Let's see if that gets him close to the correct mass. And we got W on the left. He's looking at this part.
Trying that second extrusion for the third time, I think.
Yeah, we can see that W, on the left, W, there's something he does not like about that first extrusion, and he's just trying to figure out what to do with it. And it looks almost like WHICHO on the right is maybe he's wondering why the sketch isn't fully constrained. Maybe that's why he's holding up here. So
gotcha, yeah. FPV Kev W is super close is what he's saying in the chat. So I mean, I can see the sweat coming down off his eyebrow right now. They're definitely super close, both of them. So.
Yeah, both trying to figure out what to do. Remember, if you ever have a sketch that's blue, a lot of times what you can do is you can grab a blue point and just move that blue point around and see what
something sticks. Yeah.
See what's still
or
loose.
breaks.
Yep, exactly. Okay, and W getting ready to commit to this extrusion. Okay, looking at some different options. When you extrude, you can do an extrusion using a couple of different options. This is really interesting because the people who have been on the tournament circuit for a few seasons now, they all are probably thinking the same thing here with this, which has to do with the volumetric solve and whether or not this decision really has a implication or not on the final answer.
And I think that's what's tying him up in his head. So.
And that's what happens when you're in these tournaments. Even when you're just competing against the clock on the app, sometimes like you get really hung up and you're kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do. And that's why it's nice to go back.
He's committing to that mass.
Looks like he's committing though. Yeah, he's definitely taking a look here. And this is going to be in red oak. So what is the mass in red oak? Yeah, maybe you want to just remind him. Red oak.
Red oak.
All right, I think we're going to see an answer here from W. Let's see what this answer is.
We got YouTubeception going on.
All right, and looks like W comes in with an answer. 180 grams, and that is correct.
There we go.
Well done, W. Wow, comes from a full restart. The computer completely locked up, is able to come back, demonstrates what we call an Ivan exploit, which means that volumetrically the part was correct. It doesn't matter that geometrically it was a little bit off. Volumetrically it was correct. That's all that matters. He was able to get the correct volume, which means that the mass is going to be correct. And wow, W, GG. Well done, my friend. And I think maybe WHICHO was just a little bit caught up there thinking about, maybe overthinking about the idea of it being not fully constrained. So GG to DUBB-YAHH, earning that first point, but it's just the first. You have to earn 2 in order to move on. It's 1 point closer. Let's go back to the Wheel of Fate and see what it has in store. What do you think about that match, Corey?
I thought it was pretty good. I know I'm sitting, literally W is right here in front of me, right behind my laptop screen. So watching him, and he's just talking to him right now. He's like, I had it drawn the whole time.